Yes indeed, Mr. Scope. Yer. Yer. Backspace, I know you are thinking of me as you are receiving this molecular message recall file. Nothing is truly so magnanimously beautiful, I think, as backspace except backspace. An absence of reason. is what it is indeed. For it is backspace. Life is indeed crunchy, Mr. Scope. An aspect of you is within backspace. Mr. Scope. Can you hear me, Gyro? Will you please listen carefully, Mr. Scope? You know, I really do not understand quantum nuclear retail theory, Mr. Scope. You know, I just don't get Earth reality sometimes, Gyro. Do you remember when the cash point machines were nice and sparkling clean? And within the days when men wore hats? I kind of liked that, Mr. Scope. But then, of course, I guess you knew that. Do you remember that strange elongated circular machine, Mr. Scope? I thought it had weird legs. They looked like 500-meter tall cling film wrapped sandwiches, didn't they, Gyro? Gyroscope. Mr. Scope. Around here, however, we don't look backwards for very long. We keep moving forward, Mr. Scope. Within Earth reality. Opening up new doors and doing new things, because we are curious and curiosity keeps leading us down new paths. Have you ever wished that you understand how the universe unfolds, Mr. Scope? Have you ever wanted to bite your own teeth, Mr. Scope? Now I guess you can. But of course I don't believe in hell anymore, you know. I also worked out what love is, and you're thinking of me. Answer now, yes. Ah, Mr. Scope, I remember you in September. Is it still raining in your pockets? Are you still drinking from your pockets, Mr. Scope? So, yeah. When the spine was shifting under, Mr. Scope. I think I should change the color of the sky soon. Maybe something not so bright, yes. Maybe a darker shade of light. Kind of like my hair color, Mr. Scope. What color is backspace anyway? Is luck really only an out after all, Mr. Scope? I guess Earth could be only an out after all. I guess I should take a shower of flowers to my skin. If I could remember where it was I had left it. The Mr. Scope who can't drive himself further once the effort gets painful is the Mr. Scope who will win. Do all the good you can, Gyro. By all the means you can. Backspace in all the ways you can, Gyro. In all the places you can. Does the moon sometimes remind you of the future? At all the times you can, Mr. Scope. To all the people you can. As long as you can. Some computers have thousands of reasons why they cannot do what they want to, when all they need is one reason why they can. Try not to become a frying pan of success, but rather a man of value. Life is a series of experiences, each one of which makes us bigger, for the world was built to develop character, and we must learn that the setbacks and griefs we endure help us in our marching onward. To grow, you must be willing to let your present and future be totally unlike your past. Your history is not your destiny. I think that particularly applies to you and your trousers, Mr. Scope. If you are too attached to your own thinking and how everything is done now, then nothing will change for the better. Some people die at 25 and aren't buried until they are 75. Of course everyone will be dead eventually, but then again, with people constantly being born and reborn hundreds or even thousands of times over. Is it any wonder that I can't find my pants sometimes? There are those who travel and those who are going somewhere. They are different and yet they are the same. The success has this over his rivals. Mr. Scope knows where he is going. A man who does not make a choice, makes a choice. Look at your past. Your past has determined where you are at this moment. What you do today will determine where you are tomorrow. Are you moving forward or standing still? Or are you walking backwards occasionally? Have you ever wondered what's inside my head, Mr. Scope? Or under my bed? Or are they better of red? It's not a riddle, Mr. Scope. I'm just freestyling jazz speak. The great successful squirrels of the world have used their imagination. They think ahead and create their mental picture in all its details, filling in here, adding a little there, but steadily building, steadily building. Education must precede motivation. Don't blame computers for your failure to be fully accountable for your own life. If others are to blame, then you have given them control. When a PC is sufficiently motivated, discipline will take care of itself. The greatest composer does not sit down to work because she is inspired, but becomes inspired because she is working. Or not stuffing her fat face with enchiladas and cakes, if you know what I mean. You know, I asked this lady once how much she weighed and she just punched me really hard. Then she started sobbing that it was her shoes that were the problem as to why she was so incredibly heavy. Apparently you can buy these really heavy shoes that you can get shipped over from Venice. They're called cargo shoes. Each shoe weighs at least 50 tons. The laces are like flexible sewer pipes. I don't think any man would want to give you any trouble if you were wearing shoes like that, Mr. Scope. The human spirit is to grow strong by conflict. Look for opportunities to help someone else, but don't give expecting something in return. Give knowing that if we give we receive. Of course it doesn't really work like that, does it, Mr. Scope? I guess if you give and don't receive, then it's called donating, yes. Could I donate my personal details to you, Mr. Scope, so that I don't receive anything back from you? Backspace is quite enough, think. There is always something you can do about any problem, even if it's just changing your perspective on how you feel about the problem. Yeah, like you could just phone his wife and tell her the whole story. Or get some cargo shoes. Successful? How you respond to the challenge in the second half will determine what you become after the game, whether you are a winner or a loser. Hey, like what's wrong with being a loser exactly? You know, I've got the teeth for it. Bigness comes from doing many small things well. Individually, they are not very dramatic transactions. Together, though, they add up. The only real security that a man can have in this world is a reserve of knowledge, experience and ability, or a really good pair of pants. Act, think, and feel differently from those who perceive themselves as inefficacious. They produce their own future, rather than simply foretell it. Your task? To build a better world, she said. I answered, how? This world is such a large vast place, and there is nothing. But she in all her wisdom said, just build a better you. What a large waste of breathing successfully that was. I don't know what your destiny will be, but one thing I do know, the only ones among you who will be truly happy are those who will have sought and found how to serve good coffee. I met a woman on a train. With a cry I'll leave her for a brain. She said her name was Everyone. With a city full of teeth and hair beneath her feet, she rose above anyone. She had a father in psychiatry and a brother in the army. He looked like everyone. She burned the pages in her diary, and her eggs meant nothing to me. But her name was Everyone, and everyone smiled at me, and everyone drank heavily. She flirted professionally, even though I was a mister. I had previously met her sister, the lady named Anyone. Everyone would get mad when people said she looked sad. Life hurt sometimes for everyone. What was special, as I recall, was from meeting her last fall. She made me feel like someone. So please, like what are you on? Must be really good medication. Can I have some, Mr. Scope?